ओ ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवं। परमानन्दमाधवं परमानन्दमाधवम्। ॐ वाङ्मे मनसि प्रतिष्ठिता मनो मे वाचि प्रतिष्ठितम् आविरावीर्म एधि वेदस्य माणिस्थः श्रुतं मे मा प्रहासीः अनेनाधीतेन अहोरात्रान् सन्दधामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्माम् अवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारमवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्ति शान्तिः शान्तिः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यत्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः। इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। नमः शिवाय नमः शिवाय। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारे हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेवा जिह्वे पिबस्वामृतमेतदेव गोविन्द दामोदर माधवेति हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति हे कृष्ण हे यादव हे सखेति। नारायण 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 नारायण। Firstly, I guess all the listeners of this podcast, of Bhagavad Gita podcast, had a very blissful Mahashivratri celebration. May Bhagwan Shiva bless us all. That is why in the starting invocation prayer itself, I did one mantra for Bhagwan Shiva for during this Shivratri period of time. So we'll move into verse number 20, chapter 3. I'll read the verse first, then I'll read Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya on the same, and then we'll take up the meaning. Verse number 20. कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसङ्ग्रहमेवापि सम्पश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि कर्मणैव हि संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता जनकादयः लोकसंग्रहमेवापि संपश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि. Bhagwan Shankaracharyaji's Bhashya on this verse. कर्मणा एव हि यस्मात् पूर्वे क्षत्रिया विद्वांसः संसिद्धिं मोक्षं गन्तुम् आस्थिताः प्रवृत्ता जनकादयः जनकाश्वपतिप्रभृतयः यदि ते प्राप्त सम्यक् दर्शनाः ततः लोकसंग्रहार्थं प्रारब्ध कर्मत्वात् कर्मणा सह एव असन्न्यस्य एव कर्म संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता इत्यर्थः अथ अप्राप्त सम्यक् दर्शना जनकादयः तदा कर्मणा सत्वशुद्धि साधन भूतेन क्रमेण संसिद्धिम् आस्थिता इति व्याख्येयः श्लोकः. अथ मन्यसे पूर्वैः अपि जनकादिभिः अपि अजानद्भिः एव कर्तव्यं कर्म कृतं तावता न अवश्यम् अन्येन कर्तव्यं सम्यक् दर्शनवता कृतार्थेन इति तथापि प्रारब्ध कर्म यत्तः त्वं लोकसंग्रहम् एव अपि लोकस्य उन्मार्ग प्रवृत्ति निवारणं लोकसंग्रह तम एव अपि प्रयोजनं संपश्यन् कर्तुम अर्हसि. Supreme consciousness Bhagwan Krishna, in continuation of the verses on karma yoga, Bhagwan, and in the 19th verse, Bhagwan gave this instruction to all of us. Supreme consciousness Bhagwan Krishna gave this instruction to all of us, gave this order to all of us, gave this advice to all of us. Karyam karma samachara. Before that, in the 8th verse, Bhagwan gave us the instruction Niyatam Kuru Karmatvam. And in the 9th verse, Bhagwan said Tadartham Karma Kaunteya Mukta Sangas Samachara. Now, the suitability of this advice and teaching and order of Bhagwan, he is already explained, and with several reasons why this is the best advice for all of us to lead our life. Amongst those reasons which Bhagwan had outlined, and the reason why we should lead a life of Karma Yoga, the 10th reason, and Bhagwan is giving here, is Loka Sangraha. Loka Sangraha means nourishment and preservation of the society or world around us. For nourishment and protection of the society and world around us, that is a imperative duty of all those people who are Shrestha. Shrestha means all those people who are well established and are looked upon by people. When I say well established, I'm not only talking about established in the sense of wealth and power only. I'm talking about all those people who, other people around them look up to them. They are Shreshti, they are great people, they are men of great wisdom, they are great, souls, they are great contributors to the society. All those people will fall under the category of Shrestha, means the best among the available people in the world. So they are really kept at that level, looked up by people. Now, such an action by those people who are great men, I'm just classifying Shrestha as great men here, so sorry, understand it clearly. So, the action done by all these great men and definitely is a way for them to gain vertical growth, is a path of sadhana, is a facilitating factor for them to grow into vertically grow in their own life. It is definitely not going to be the action which are going to bind them. I told you already, action has only got two facets. If we do not use action to become a facilitating factor for our vertical growth, then remember, the other fallback option for all the action generally is they are going to bind you. So, you need to decide whether you want to do action and which are going to bind you, means that create a bandhan for you, or you want to use that action as a facilitating factor, sadhan for your growth into vertical path. So that is what we need to decide, and because action has to give its nature. Action's nature is to bind us, and I'm going to explain you as we move along this particular verse. Was that how, and I already explained a lot, but I'm just going to touch some more aspects for you to explain why, what are the lacunas in actually just doing action normally. That is why you will see, it's the world is full of people who are doing action, but are all of them getting free? Are all of them actually growing vertically? No, that's not the case at all. Why? It's not that there is a problem in the action. The meaning is, of course we all have to do action. If you are born in a body, you are born as a jiva, action is a must for you. Then if we do not understand karma yoga, then by mere doing an action, we are more getting into bondage, because that's the nature of action. It is going to leave that footprint for you, it is going to leave that karma phala for you, that every action is going to bind, right? Unless and until we figure out a way to do action differently, and that is the importance of karma yoga or ishwar arpita karam, that the binding nature of the action and actually loosens its grip on you, and it fails to bind you, even though that is the nature of the action. That same action done in that different way is going to liberate you into vertical growth. So you need to decide whether you want to get bound by action one after another, or you want to get liberated. That is why I told you, it's not that people around us are not doing action. Yes, that is true, that and there may be few amongst us who may be lazing around, or getting into pramada, laziness, not doing action, avoiding action, escaping action. There are people like that also. I'm not touching base on them. They are not majority, by the way. There are few of them, because exceptions are there everywhere. So there are few of them who are in that category. I'm not talking about them, leave them aside. But majority of the people in this creation are actually doing action. So many people are acting. That is the reason this whole world, economy and other things are moving around and working, and everything is going in the correct spree. That's besides the point, how many of us understand and the actual way of doing an action. And amongst those majority who are doing action, there are rare few who are doing the same action in the correct attitude. And since they are doing the action in the correct attitude, which is the karma yoga, the way Bhagwan has mentioned, and they are not doing mediocre action, they are doing karyam karma samachara. They are doing it just, even though they are doing it for not for their personal objective, personal prerogatives, they are doing it for God, but they are doing it really beautifully well. There are rare few of them who are doing the same action which are due to them, which is a duty of them, but they are doing with a different attitude altogether. Because of that different attitude, the binding nature of the action is not able to impact them or is not able to affect them, meaning it is not able to bind them. Rather, the same action, because of the shift in attitude of doing the action, it is actually, rather than getting bound, they are getting liberated. So the same action can bind us also, same action can liberate us also. Just so that Bhagwan is able to explain this point in this particular verse, Bhagwan gives us a live example. That is why Bhagwan used the word Janakadaya. I'm going to explain you as I move along. So Bhagwan is trying to give an example here and trying to prove this point with an example of those who have already lived here and gone. You can, and you must be knowing that name. I'm going to touch base on that point and I'm going to explain you different aspects also. Many of us are aware of many things in a very small manner about our scriptures and about our history. I'm talking about Sanatana Dharma. Okay, but many of us do not understand the exact import and exact meaning of that. One such term I'm going to explain you about, one name which Bhagavan has given is Janakadaya. I'll explain you as I move along this particular verse. So here, to prove that point, to explain that point, so that we have a reference point to follow, Bhagavan is picking up the example himself of somebody who has lived here and gone, to explain that they were absolutely into the action in and out, and they did their action well. And the same action, which usually has the nature of binding, not only helped them liberate and gain liberation, they never bound them at all. They were not pushed back into the cycle of birth and death. Bound means what? You do an action, you stay here, or to receive the fruit of that action, result of that action. And if you leave before even the result of the action, then you will be born again to just bear the fruit of action. And of course, vasana and other things to just continue your life according to that. So this is a discussion point which we'll take up some other time, and when I just pick up one particular session only about the BMI chart, one full session about that, I'll give you different aspects of that to explain you what is the impact of vasana, where the karma phala stands, and all those things. I'm going to come back to you about how the cycle of birth and death is repeated for majority of us. It is irrespective if amongst us, majority of us may not be even getting a human birth also in the next cycle of birth, or few of us will be getting that also. It completely depends on the kind of karma phala you have. It completely depends on the kind of vasanas you have accumulated. Absolutely clear on that. Just because you got a human birth, I'm telling you honestly, I've said that before also, and it is loud and clearly mentioned by Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji in Vivek Chudamani also. You have just got a human body. You've not become a human being yet. We've got a human body to establish ourselves in the human nature. If we get a human body and live an animalistic life, then you have actually completely gone against the birth also. Then why will the nature, why will the dharma, why the lord of death will even grant you a human life next one? You were given a beautiful opportunity of living in a human body, so that minimum at least cultivate humane values. Live like a human being. In the human body, if you continue to live like animals, then why should you be even given an animal, not given an animal body? Why should you be even given a human body next time? Tell me. That is the way you have cultivated, is what you get. No, that is what is mentioned by our scriptures, that you decide your next birth by what kind of values you give air to, what kind of values you cultivate, what kind of values you develop in you, what kind of values you turn towards, what kind of values you nourish. So all these things will decide whether you grow up in the birth cycle also, or whether you go down. The choice is yours. That is why human body is a human life is a life of choice. You can decide whether to grow or to fall down. You just do all kind of rubbish things here, or disturbing people, giving pain to people, inflicting pain on others, destroying society, killing people here, killing people there. Why should you be even given a chance to you be born as a human? No, why will nature even give you that chance? So that is why, to explain this point, that we have the choice, and Bhagwan is picking up the example of those who have lived here. Now, whenever an example is given in the spiritual arena, in the spiritual topic, the example can only be of a sadhak. Sadhak means a seeker who has come here, lived life, and gone. And one such example Bhagwan picks up is Janakji. Now, why I said, we do not understand our things only correctly. Now, the moment you hear Janakji, the first thing which strikes your mind is father of Sita ji. Father of Sita ji was Janakji, isn't it? Of course, he must have been a great soul. That is why Sita ji chose to be born in his family. Otherwise, why will Mother Sita, Mother Prakriti will come and be born in somebody's house? We need to deserve that much of at least punya and that much of grace of Bhagwan. So yes, of course, the first name which strikes is father of Mother Sita ji. Yes, that Janakji is correct, and he was also named as Mithila Naresh because he used to be the king of the kingdom called Mithila. Mithila Naresh. That is why Mother Sita ji's name was Maithili also, by the way. So anyway, so coming to that point, so one such example is definitely of Janakji, and the first name which strikes our mind is Sitaji's father, and Sitaji's father's name was Janakji only. Now, of course, he was a great man, as I already explained to you. That is one of the reasons why he Sitaji was decided to appear at his house. I will not use the word born, I will say appear, incarnate it in his home. So I can say that way because you know our Bhagwan and mother, they are not born like we are born. They, that is why it's called avatara. Avatara means they appear, they incarnate it there. No incarnation word, not the way we understand, and about the repeating cycle and all. I'm not talking about that. Coming to the point now, this word Janak is not the name of one particular person. That is why I said, we also do not understand our scriptures completely. Janak ji is actually a position. It's not the name of a one single person. Of course, Sita ji's father's name was also Janak ji. There have been other Raja Janak also who have been there. Now, those people who were the king of Mithila, there were many of them, who have been, become the king, coronated as king of Mithila. Many of them had the name Videha. Many of them had the name Janak. Okay, so this Janak, the word Janak is a position, not a name of one particular person. Amongst those people who have been on that post of Janak, there have been many such people who have been there, who have been popular as a man of wisdom. They have been popular as Jnani. Okay, they become popular as a Jnani. There have been many amongst them who have been popular as liberated souls. Liberated souls means those people who have become mukta while in the position of being a king, leading a kingdom. Still, in spite of those things, amidst the plethora of luxury and comfort, they had grown into a level to become and called as a jnani, a man of wisdom. They have grown into the level of becoming a man of realization. It is a clarion call for all of us. No, this path of spirituality, this is the beauty of this path of spirituality. It is not for one jati, it is not for one caste, it is not for one creed. Everybody is eligible, everybody is equally eligible, but your eligibility is not determined by which lineage you fall into, which family you are born into. which caste or creed you are born into. Your eligibility is decided by how you have utilized your life of human birth, what choices you have made in your life. Yes, spirituality is not against horizontal growth at all. I told you many times in this podcast episode itself. So there have been, many people in the posts of King Janak, who have become popular as a liberated man of spiritual wisdom, and liberated man of realization also. One such Janakji was Sita ji's father also. One such Janakji was Brahmarshi Sri Shukdev ji's guru also. One such Janakji is also the disciple and student of Ashtavakraji also. You will know here, that is why I'm saying that they are all in different kalpas and different yugas. So of course that is why Janak is a post. There are many aspects I can say, but I don't want to overcomplicate here. So let's continue. Actually, to be honest with you, there are many posts. Many of us are taking up the posts of different things. So I'll come to that point later on. Just as a company also, sometimes CEO step down and somebody else takes the reign. That is how it is. King Janak is actually a post, and many have come and lived a life on that post. Now, Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan Krishna, giving the example of him, mentions in this verse Janak Adayah. With the word Adayaha, actually, with that word itself, Bhagwan is explaining or indicating this point that it's a post. Number one. Number two, it is also an indication to the fact that usually man of realization are born in Rishi in the lineage of rishis and all. But here Bhagwan is trying to explain that Adaya means the example I am giving you, they are not born in any lineage of rishis. Rather, they are born in royal family. They have been part of royal family. They are born in a royal family, and they have lived the life as a king only. They have led the kingdom as a king. So imagine how many facilities, what luxury, what comfort is already there with any king. And Janak at the Videha Nagari was a very what you call that, at well established and a wealthy place to lead, to be honest with you. I know that is one of the reason why in the Bhashya of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji of this particular verse, Bhagwan Bhashyakar also highlights this point that if you read the first para of what Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji is mentioned in his Bhashya, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji mentions Purve Kshatriya Vidwansah. Bhagwan says, Bhagwan Bhashyakar, Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji says, these people who were Kshatriyas, who had the responsibility of leading a kingdom, and from birth itself they were supposed to act, because leading a kingdom, a king has to act in many different areas and facets and arenas. But these people, they were not only a great, not only amongst the great rulers, but they were all brilliant seekers also, and had great wisdom also. They were people with great and deep wisdom also. That is what Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji says, Purve Kshatriyaha Vidwamsaha. Asthitaha te. This word Asthita has got two meanings. One is, Asthita means those who are placed in something, they are called Asthita. They are, Asamanta Sthitaha, well placed in something is called Asthita. Asthita, the another meaning is those people who are acting in that path or in that manner. Acting in that methodology is also Asthita. So Asthita definitely means well placed. When once who are firmly placed in something is called Asthita. Asthita also means those who are acting well in that framework, in that frame of mind, in that methodology, in that way. So that is also called Asthita. Now, these men of great wisdom, Janak, etc., they have been, great men, of course, great men, so to say. eh, when they began their sadhana, when they began their spiritual path. Sadhana means when they began their spiritual path. You know oh At that time, they moved well towards their supreme goal also. And they also did well amongst doing their own particular duties also. So it's not that they left their duties and walked one path. Usually one of the things most of us have got this is, wrong understanding about spirituality is, for spirituality, I have to leave everything what I have and walk that path. No, that same misconception Bhagwan is removing with this particular verse. Bhagwan says that's not correct at all. What you have, what situation you are born into, what is your surrounding, trust me, if you step back a little, have faith in God, have faith in the spiritual, aura of Bhagwan, divine grace and blessings of Bhagwan, you will understand your situation is your path of growth. It is there in your life so that you can cleanse yourself and move the path correctly. There are two kinds of people. One who keep cribbing about, and I'm nothing that blah, 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 I have this thing also missing, see them, see that, compare this, compare that, person is so, and this person is so, you look at me, what I have got here. You can continue to do that. You can continue to brag over that particular point. What you have, what you can keep cribbing and crying. But trust me, if you step back a little with the correct faith in God, you will realize that your path of growth is hidden in your own situation itself. Trust me, I'm telling you. For that, you need grace and blessings of Bhagwan also, and of course, a guru also in your life. So these people, well, it is said, it definitely moved or walked towards their spiritual goal also, and they did well in their area of duties also. Their journey in life was karmana eva saha. They reached their spiritual goal while doing their action, along with doing their action. They never left their action to walk the path of spirituality or walk the path of moksha, walk, walked the path of realization, not leaving their duty. They did their duty, and along with that, they walked. There are many examples as in spiritual stories which are there. I'll bring out as and when the right context comes. Now, one question which generally or usually is there in the mind of every seeker is that it is known, and spirituality also declares that all actions bind, and our bondage is due to our actions. And it is a it is a valid question, because Bhagwan has also declared that the one question which keeps on coming into our mind, which is a valid question, that if our action is not Ishwararpit means it's not dedicated to God, definitely that action has got the capability to give us bhoga, to give us enjoyership, to give us enjoyment. And the other thing which walks along with that enjoyership is that it all actions also have the nature that it increases rajogun in us. Rajogun means sattva, rajas, and tamas. Rajogun is required for action. Without rajogun, action cannot be done. If we are in pure sattva, you will see that there will not be too much pravritti into action. I'm saying in pure sattva. Pure sattva, the man will want to sit down and merge himself in meditation. But for action, rajogun is required, and every action will have two things. Definitely, if it is not offered unto the lotus feet of Bhagwan, if it is not Ishwar Arpit, it can definitely give us enjoyership and things of enjoyment. That's one thing, and along with that, it will also increase rajoguna in us. This is a truth which we should all know. Now, other part of action is action also increases our outward looking nature. It also adds on to that. For action, you have to look outward. You cannot look inward and do action, right? For action, you have to look outward because action has to be done outside. So, one more thing which action does, or one more lacking in the action is, so I told you three things. One, of course, it will give you bhoga, it will give you things of enjoyment, it will give you build luxury around you. You can do that, not an issue at all. But along with that, it will also increase rajogun in you. The second thing it will do along with that is it also increases your outward looking nature. And the the third thing it is going to do as a lacking is in your intellect, in your antakarana, it will also develop a nature of dividing your attention into many things. Anekagra, this word you should know, ekagra and anekagra. Ekagra means single pointed, anekagra means is divided into many things. When our attention is divided into many things, I'll explain you why this anekagra also comes as part of doing action. Because for doing one action, many things are required. You will just see yourself, any action you pick up, for doing one particular action, many things are required. And many people need to be kept in contact. We have to contact many people, we have to work with many people, we'll have to come in contact with many people. That is why, because many things are required for doing an action, and we have to come in contact with many people to complete one particular action, because of that, the possibility of our intellect becoming single pointed while being in completely engrossed in action is actually negligible. There is no possibility of our intellect becoming single pointed when we are completely immersed in action or we are completely engaged in action. For fulfilling or completing any kind of an action, many things are required, and many facilitating factors need to be gathered, many facilitating objects need to be come into contact, and many people who are going to help us complete it also need to be kept in contact. And we have to collate all those things and make it come together, or lead all of them together, so that we are able to complete one particular action. And all those people who are leading these action, definitely they have to come in contact with many objects, many people, many situations, many facilitating factors. Because of that, they are not able or unable to make their intellect single pointed, and their intellect becomes divided, intellectual attention becomes divided into many things and many people and many of these facilitating factors, is because their intellect has to enjoin with all these things which are required to complete one particular action. Now, when with the grace of Bhagwan, and actions continue to get completed on their own, when I'm saying actions start to get completed one after another, means that we are able to gain success of completion of actions one after another. At that time, when they're engrossed in action, the one who is doing this action may not realize this fact that their intellect is actually getting divided. The intellectual attention is getting divided into many different things. When they're engrossed in action, they will not realize. Only they will realize when, after successful completion of the action, when they step back and want to decide and sit at one place and try to make their intellect single pointed to do meditation or something, that is, and they try to make their intellect single pointed, then they realize, oh man, my intellect has already become so divided into different things that making it single pointed is becoming very difficult for me. And that is when a person is able to compare and measure the difference between single pointedness and intellectual attention divided into many things. Once a person starts the journey of inward looking, remember what I said? Action makes us outward looking. The word for outward looking in Sanskrit and Hindi is Bahirmukta. Bahirmukta means looking outward. And Upanishad also said, Paran Chikhani Vyatarna Swayambhu Tasmat Parang Pashyati Nantaratman. Our senses become so much outward looking that they are able to see things, situations, and objects and everything outside. But our senses, since they are outward looking, they cannot look within at all. Senses cannot be, senses are made in such a way to look outside only. So it is said here that when a person starts to walk the journey of antarmukta, inward looking, that is when, and this person starts to realize that when they start walking the path of inward looking, they realize that outward looking in nature is not something which is natural, and I don't want it. Starts to have a distaste for outward looking things. That is what a man of realization does. He doesn't want to interact with anyone, wants to just sit down and realize the self. That is why I said, if a man of realization is, we are able to come in contact with a man of realization, even as a guru or as a teacher to teach us scriptures, I am telling you, you must have a big blessing, grace and blessing of Bhagwan for that. Because a man of realization has no reason to interact with any one of us. A man of realization would rather want to, why? Because for interacting with us, he has to look outward. There is one satsang which is coming up in Bangalore. You will hear the topic. There is the conversation between in Bhagwan Shiva and Mother Parvati, which is the essence of Ramayana from Ramcharitmanas. There I will talk about that when I come to that session. And on this aspect, I'm going to talk about that. And through the example of Bhagwan Shiva only, because that's Shivratri has just gone by. Who is a more brilliant example to give for Shanta Swabhava than Bhagwan Shiva, who's always immersed in meditation? That's the real form of Bhagwan Shiva. Of course, Shivratri just went by. The Shivratri has got many ways of celebration, but one way of celebration is immersing yourself in the remembrance of your supreme consciousness, Bhagwan Shiva, within you. Supreme consciousness, Bhagwan Narayana, within you. So that is one of the way of Shivratri, which is your third eye, by the way. So anyway, coming to that point, so the action, and one thing about action is, one nature of action is that action actually makes us completely away from moksha. Because moksha means you have to be inward looking. For action, you have to be outward looking. They're completely opposite to each other. And this possibility always remains in action, and this is definitely present in an action. You need to remember that. And Bhagwan and Supreme Consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna has himself said from in his own words, Lokaha ayam karma bandhana. All these actions binds you to this world, binds you to this external environment. And Supreme Consciousness, Bhagwan Krishna, has never refused this point, this fact that definitely action binds. Rather, Bhagwan has said, yes, that's correct, action binds. Bondage does not, or action does not bind, and or action should not bind. The only secret of that is that when you do the action in the correct attitude, in the correct spirit, that is the only way to escape this bondage factor of action. So that we should not get bound with action. If we do not do that action in that particular way, in that secret way, in that advised way by Bhagwan, then remember, a binding factor of action is definitely going to impact you. That's for sure. And apart from the binding factor, apart from being bound, And remember, your intellect will also get divided, that its attention will get divided into many different things. That's the second thing. Third thing is, yes, the doership in you will definitely grow. It will become stronger and stronger, and the rajogun will also increase in you. The guna of rajas will also increase in you, and along with that, what comes as a free gift to all these things is, yes, the bhokta bhav, the feeling or the experiencer, the enjoyership feeling will also grow, that I have done the action, so I only should get this result. If you have done an action, this feeling will definitely come to you. With doership, if you do an action, I'm just giving you an example, just think for a while. With doership, you do an action and the result goes to somebody else, how do you feel? Of course, with doership, if you do an action, you insist that the fruit should come to you, and you will definitely revolt if by any chance you feel that it is going to someone else, isn't it? You just see around on, that is the thing which happens. And this feeling that I should get the result, right, and the result of this action and the fruit of this action should come to me only, this is nothing but the feeling of enjoyership only, the thought of enjoyership only. And all these things are there in every action. Bhagwan says, since all these things are true in their facet, that if you are doing an action with the spirit of yajnartha, and that action in you are doing with the spirit of yajna, along with that, with mukta sangha, free from any kind of attachment, and in case that person is doing samyak acharan means he is doing in things which are good for himself also and for the society. It is established by the life of all the great men who had lived here and gone, that this action is not going to keep them far from their ultimate goal of spirituality or ultimate vertical growth. Rather, it is going to help them facilitate their journey to make them reach the goal towards the end of their life. See, this is the beauty of doing action in that way. And there have been many great men who have lived here. Through their action, they have established this fact that, while they have set out in their life with action in their life's journey, they have all gained the success as of worldly, at the worldly level also, along with that at the vertical growth level also, means spiritual level also. And if they have gained living their life here, tell me one reason why, if you do that way, you will not gain. Bhagwan is asking you this question. I know, if Janakji, etc., have established themselves, with that path, and they have lived this principle of life, lived this way of life, and they have gained in their life, if whose example Bhagwan is giving here, with the way he said karma naiva hi samsiddhim astita janakadaya, then tell me one reason why you will not gain if you lead this life. We should all think over this. This we can try to understand in one more way also. It is exactly the way, if for example you are traveling somewhere and someone shows you a path saying that, this road you see which is going in, even though it is not a well built road, it is not a tarred road, so to say, but remember one thing, that walking through this path only, so and so has reached that particular village or that particular place. Even though this doesn't seem to be a well built road, it seems to be what you call that, a muddy kind of a road, or not well tarred or anything, not well constructed road, even though it looks not very, what you call that, stable road, so to say. But yes, walking through this road only, so and so has reached that village or that place where you are asking about, you know. And because some people have walked that road, have traveled that road, and had reached their destination, that is why it is for sure you can know that this path leads you there. You should never have a doubt about that at all. Now, in this society, one doubt which we all usually have, and we keep raising that doubt, is that, oh, about Janakji, when I'm talking about those people who know about it, one doubt which comes in our mind is, this Janakji's example which Bhagwan is giving here, was he a jnani, or was he a man of wisdom, or he was someone who had no knowledge of spirituality at all? Now, why this question comes in our mind? Karma Yoga is advised for those, as what Bhagwan has also mentioned in the second chapter also. Karma Yoga is usually advised for those, usually means it's advised for those who have not yet gained Sankhya Buddhi. Right? I've already explained that in when the verse came. And Bhagwan himself has also in his own words said, for a man of wisdom, a man of realization, tasya karyam na vidyate. No actions are there, are advised, no actions are required, no actions are there, are left for or the man of realization or man of steady wisdom. Now, here the Janakji's example which is being given, one question which can strike our mind is, what will be Janakji's state? Was he a jnani, or was he a one who had not yet gained the spiritual knowledge and is yet to gain? Which category we should put Janakji into? Now, you see the beauty of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji here. I told you the brilliance of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji in his Bhashya is, he steps back and thinks at a rational level, at a layman level, what are the kind of doubts which can come into our mind while writing his Bhashya. It is a natural doubt which can come in the mind of any seeker. Where should I place Janakji? Should I place him in the place of a jnani, or should I place him in the place of an ajnani? Whose example is Bhagwan trying to give? Now, Bhagwan Bhashyakar's beauty, you see, Bhagwan Bhashyakar says that, when we try to explain or give the example that, of Janakji, first point which Bhagwan Bhashyakar raises is that, who are we to raise a question on Janakji? We are not even qualified to ask a question about Janakji. Number one, even though we are not qualified to ask a question about Janakji, or question what Bhagwan is trying to say, but still we will try to explain Janakji from both perspective. That's the beauty of Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji. Bhagwan ji says, Bhagwan Bhashyakar or Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji says here, even if we place Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji as a jnani also, I'll explain you from that perspective. If we want to take his example as an ajnani also, let's see both the perspective, that what Bhagwan is trying to say here. See, the center or the locus of this entire understanding is what message Bhagwan wants to give from the verse. So we have to catch that. Okay, now we have to understand, we have to flow with the teaching of Bhagwan, because here Bhagwan is giving this teaching to Arjun. The same thing we need to apply for Arjun, whether Bhagwan is, categorizing Arjun in which category, Ajnani or Jnani, or which way. So let's understand what Bhagwan Shankaracharya is trying to explain here from both perspectives. Now see, the first thing which Bhagwan Shankaracharya he picks up in his Bhashya is, the second para of his Bhashya is, Yadi te prapta samyak darshanaha. In case is we take the example of Janakji as one who had gained the spiritual wisdom, gained the spiritual knowledge, then post gaining the self knowledge, post gaining the wisdom about the self, whatever actions he did, there could only be two reasons for those actions. There will be two facets of that action. One reason for that action is, it is a prarabdha pravritti. Prarabdha pravritti means because this body is born out of prarabdha, the fruit of action which have already begun and to fructify. So till the time this body is there, those actions or those fruits have to be gained, have to be consumed, or have to be enjoyed. So one reason for, in case we take Janakji's example as one who has already gained the spiritual wisdom, has gained the knowledge about the self, that post that knowledge, whatever action he did, one reason of that could be it is born out of prarabdha, prakarshena arabdha, the one. Second thing which can be categorized there is, second reason that uh, whatever actions he did, people around him gained from his actions. Of course, actions is not only going to get you the thing. Your actions will have others also gain. Like, for example, I'm giving you an example. Somebody works hard and sets up a factory or anything, many get employed, so many get their livelihood from there, right? So our action can definitely give us result also, but if our action is of a bigger magnitude, it can give results to many other people also. So the other reason of their action, the other facet of the action is that with their action, whatever people around them they gained, and with that gain, and it can be established that their action was for loka sangraha. Loka sangraha means for nourishment and preservation and protection of the society, development of the society. ततः लोक संग्रहार्थम प्रारब्ध कर्मत्वात्. Bhagwan Shankaracharya has written in that at first portion of the second para of his bhashya is written. Yadi, I'll read that at the second portion, the second para, the first portion. Yadi te prapta samyak darshanaha ततः लोक संग्रहार्थम हम प्रारब्ध कर्मत्वात् कर्मणा सह एव असन्यस्य एव कर्म samsiddhim astita iti artha. The first example he has given, that their action has been out of prarabdha karma, prarabdha pravritti, and also along with that loka sangrahartham. Their with their prarabdha. Now you see the way Bhagwan Shankaracharya is put up. With their prarabdha, many were supposed to gain. A Mahatma, a Jivan Mukta Purusha, so to say, a Guru, who, so to say, with their action, many gain. And of course, their magnitude of gaining will be according to their own faith and their own service to that Guru. That is one thing, definitely, yes. But just see, with their one particular action, how many people gain, and where all people gain from them. See, that is one of the reasons that with their prarabdha, many are gaining, and that becomes loka sangrahartham. I'm telling you, when I was with my Guruji, when people used to come, that they used to say, Guruji, with your teaching, I have been able to correct my way of living. With your teaching, I am able to learn so much that I am able to understand life correctly. It feels so good that with Guru's action, so many are gaining. That is one thing we need to understand. Now, the meaning of the word prarabdha pravritti is that also we need to understand. Prarabdha. Let's understand this prarabdha also in a depth. This ego of ours has got a relationship to this body. Ego has got this relationship to this body, which is born out of karma. So we call this word, but this ego is connected to this body because of a karmaj sambandh, a relationship born out of karma. Our ego is connected to the body, connect, or our ego is connected to the body, or dependent upon the body, or related to the body, because of a relationship which is born out of action, karmaj sambandh. Because of this, even for a man of wisdom, when the subtle body or sukshma sharira is negated, okay, when the identification with the sakshi is cut off, because this karma, this identification born out of action is left, which can become weakened or destroyed only by action. That is why, till the time that action is completely destroyed, till then, to give support to the ego, this body continues to remain on the earth. The presence of this body is there on the earth. That is the explanation behind why, even after gaining spiritual wisdom, even after realization, Mahatma remains here as Jivan Mukta, does not become Videha Mukta yet, does not drop his body yet. Because, as I explained to you, remember one thing, whatever I just spoke is very subtle to understand. So just listen to that. If you do not understand, when you gain the knowledge correctly, at that time, come back and listen to it, you will understand. Remember this thing, what I said, that this ahankar, this ego, or to give support to this ego, this body is present. And till when? Till the time the relationship, what is that which related this body to the ego, was born out of our past actions. Till the time those action had fructified and given its fruit, and completely exhausted after giving its fruit, till that time, to support this ego, this body has to remain on the earth. Without the support of something, ego cannot sustain. Ego needs something to sustain. Now the thing is, the identification or the support of Sakshi is cut off, because this man has become realized. Now the only thing which left is body. There is nothing called realization for the body. So I told you before also, for a man of realization, the body does not realize. When the Videha Mukti happens, when they drop this body from where it has come, which is Pancha Tattva, the five elements, this body gets merged into those five elements. There is nothing called realization of the body. Remember that. And along with the body, for such a man of spiritual wisdom, man of realization, even the Antakarana, which is Man, Buddhi, Chitta and Ahankar, which is mind, intellect, memory, and ego, all these things, they have also come from the subtle aspect of five element. Along with the body, they also get merged into the five elements, and the self or the soul gets merged into the self, which is all pervasive. That is the greatness of a Jivan Mukta Purush, a Videha Mukta Purush, and that is why after the drop of their body, they are called Brahmaleen. Like I say for my Guruji, Brahmaleen Swamiji. Brahmaleen, why? Brahmaleen Swami Subodhananji, why? Because they have got no identification with their body. Their identification with the body, their identification with the Antakarana is cut off here itself. Then, while living in the body, to bless the people, bless the non-qualified people like me and all, they were here because of their sheer grace and blessings. Things there, and Bhagwan and Supreme Consciousness Bhagwan's grace and blessings, their life is a blessing for us. And because of that only, we are able to gain what we are able to gain, whatever little we are able to gain. I could gain whatever little because of his grace and blessings, because Bhagwan made me meet him. Their life is a blessing on us. That is it is a pity on us, those people who come around such great saints also, and they do not realize their greatness, and they lose out the opportunity. And if you do not establish that faith when they are here, once they are gone, what are you going to gain? You did not establish when they were here. When the opportunity was there to serve, you did not utilize it. When the opportunity was there to sit at their lotus feet to gain, you did not utilize it. You lost that opportunity. Now when they are gone, you do whatever you feel like. It's not going to work out. That is why from the same Guru, many listen, but few realize. Few are able to walk that path correctly because all of them does not have the same level of faith in him. They do not serve him in that correct way. I have seen many serve of gurus also, but their attitude of service is not good. You need to understand these are things which are made available to us. One of the, you know, uh, one of the biggest blessing I feel, and I do not feel even and qualified for that blessing, is that God made me meet two such great gurus in my life, two such realized masters in my life. And they, one made me meet the other. They both made me join in with all three as one group. It's such a great blessing. I do not know what I've done to actually gain that. Trust me, I'm telling you, I don't remember any punya in my life to have actually met them also. But yes, by God's grace, I could serve them with whatever little I could, whatever little I could, and I could serve them. So the thing is that is one thing we need to understand. Without out dependency, without a dependable factor, this ego cannot remain. Now, for a man of realization, the contact or the identification, the sakshi is cut off. The only thing which is left is the body. And because this body is there, till the time this body is there, we must accept the role of prarabdha karma. We must understand that there is a purpose of prarabdha karma. That is why, or the cause of action or the reason of action of a man of spiritual wisdom is prarabdha karmatvat. It's only out of prarabdha karma. And it's not only his prarabdha karma, prarabdha karma of all those who have established faith in him, all those who have decided to serve him also. So in case we accept Janakji here as an example, that Janakji was a jnani, was a man of spiritual wisdom, then we must accept this fact that the reason for his action was his prarabdha karma only. It was only prarabdha karma. And in that prarabdha, there are three facets of the prarabdha which is there when we talk about a man of spiritual wisdom, action of a man of spiritual wisdom. Three kinds of prarabdha. One is swecha prarabdha. Swecha prarabdha means his own prarabdha coming out of his own desire to serve and all. Anicha prarabdha, not born out of his desire to serve or anything. It is ishwarecha. Anicha means it's not out of his own desire. God wants to get some things done through him or her, or that is anicha prarabdha. The third thing is parecha prarabdha. Parecha prarabdha means because of the prarabdha of other. There are many people who are there whose prarabdha was there to gain the knowledge edge, in that manner which he teaches. So because of their prarabdha, his action came out. So remember, there are these three facets of prarabdha for a man of realization. Swecha prarabdha, prarabdha which is born out of his own desire to serve, serving God by serving the society, or giving the knowledge, like Puja Gurudev. One example I'll give you straight away. He wanted to come out to the plains and give this knowledge to many. He thought that this knowledge should not be limited to Himalayas, and because it was his ichha, swecha prarabdha, so to say, he came out and gave. And that's why so many centers got built up, and so many people are getting gained from that thing. Anicha prarabdha, God wants to get something done through him. And parecha prarabdha, all those people who served him, all those people who had faith in him, their prarabdha also was there, not to gain knowledge. To gain something, to get something, it has to come from some medium. So he becomes the medium for that. So these three prarabdha we need to understand. This parecha prarabdha, or the prarabdha of others, was with that parecha prarabdha only the loka sangraha, or the nourishment of the society, or nourishment of the world, or preservation of the world happens. Okay. Now remember one thing: nourishment of the society or protection of the society, it automatically happens with the action of a man of realization. Happens and with every action of a man of realization, I should say that. Whether he wants it also or he does not want it also. I'm telling you how many people gain, you can't even imagine. the beauty of spiritual world is God is the sole trustee of the spiritual path. In one place, while explaining Ramayana, my Puja Guruji has said that the best part about Sanatan Dharma is, for Sanatan Dharma, the sole trustee of Sanatan Dharma means the spiritual wisdom and spiritual path is Bhagwan himself. Because he is the sole trustee, we do not need to worry about the preservation of it. But there could be followers going up and down, but it will always remain preserved. So many have come and gone to try to destroy it. They have only got destroyed. They could not even touch it. Forget about destroying it. So, because sole trustee is Bhagwan himself. So one thing we need to understand. So, for with an action of a jnani, whether he wants it or not, loka sangraha, or the preservation and nourishment of the society, automatically he happens. And the reason for that is, before the knowledge also, this man of wisdom has become a man of wisdom because of, what you call that, brilliance in him, because of the correct choices of his life, because of being a great seeker himself. The path of man of wisdom is through a great seeker. He was a very dedicated and great seeker. So he was one of the best seekers, so to say, before the knowledge happened. And before the knowledge happens, whatever character, whatever nature, whatever habit he has developed and nourished, okay, whatever are things he have developed and nourished, preserved in him, whatever was there before the knowledge, whatever nature he has built up, whatever action and he has built up, post knowledge also, it becomes only a translation of all those things which have built. What you have constructed only you will live in, no? So whatever he has nourished, post knowledge, his action are mere translation of all those which he has already done in the past. He continues to do that. That is why whatever great habits are cultivated, whatever great inner personality is developed, that is what manifests outside post knowledge, as in the man of wisdom. And that at action, what he does is seen by seekers also, his students also, and non-seekers also. And even all those who see that action, all those who comes in touch with that action, remember one thing, it gives them actually motivation to walk the correct path. And it not only motivates them to walk the correct path, it also generates respect for him within them. And uh, somewhere or the other, with those two things, generation of respect for him along with the motivation to walk the correct path, somewhere or the other deep down in this person who comes in touch with him, and slowly gradually there it generates a feeling of aversion towards wrongdoings and wrong path, and there is an interest to move away from all wrong things which he was doing. There's a desire which generates in this person to walk away from that, and it also gives this person a courage, also develops courage in him to leave all those things which are not correct, which are not right. And inside the antakarana of human being, this is something that will make him develop a vision of seeing greatness in that person. One nature of antakarana of all human beings is that if they see, they are able to see greatness, any kind of greatness as in someone and or in somewhere, that definitely gives them motivation. And if that greatness is in front of them, and then remember one thing, that greatness actually gives them motivation to walk the correct path. walk the right path, and it also gives them courage to leave the wrong path, provided he has seen greatness in someone. Okay, and if that greatness is in front of his intellect, remember that will definitely give motivation to that person to walk the correct path, and along with that it will also give that person courage to drop the wrong path which he has adopted till now in life. One big example of that is Valmiki. I don't have to explain you much about that. Valmiki, he was, name was Ratnakar. He was a highway robber. Just imagine the, power of Naradji and Naradji's words, that such a highway robber who was into wrong action, he became a great saint. It is such a big thing in Sanatan Dharma for us, that if Ratnakar could become Valmiki, who is worshipped now, then how far are we? The only thing is that we need to see that greatness in someone, look up to him and start walking the path. On that greatness fact also, I'm going to tell you certain aspects which we all must watch out for us. Don't see wrong things as great also, because your intellect has a habit. The moment you give that, attribute the greatness to someone over there, you'll start copying things blindly. So that is why you need to understand, watch out who are you making great for. And one big example I'll give you is, don't make, this word called heroes. It's such a wrong word actually. Heroes are not the one who have acted in television and all. No, heroes are the one who have done the acting in the life correctly. That word itself is wrong. Anyway, so we'll come and explain that in the next session though. So the one thing which gives that, definitely gives a courage to us, to the person watching it, that to leave the wrong path, and motivates him or her to walk the correct path. Now, the actions of a man of steady wisdom or a man of self knowledge, it definitely may be out of, the reason of action of a man of steady wisdom or man of self knowledge is going to be his prarabdha, and but the fruit of that action is going to be loka sangraha. Maybe his action is out of prarabdha, but the fruit of that action is definitely nourishment of the society and people around him. And uh, his future actions are already negated by his knowledge. That's why all his actions does not bear any other fruit at all. He's not going to come here to enjoy that fruit. He doesn't want punya also. Why? Because it is already, the fruit itself is nourishment of the society, and that is done there. He's not going to come back to gain that fruit at all, because his agami karma or the future actions are not there. They do not bear any fruit. And because there is nothing in to be born as a fruit, so he's not going to come back. There's no one to actually bear the fruit. The people who serve him and all, they gain from him, because he has dropped that fruit of his action anyway. So Bhagwan, it said napyutaraihi shlishyatam. Now, in those, with those actions done post gaining the self knowledge by the man of realization, and Ajnani, a man of wisdom, has got no connection with that at all. Or because of that, since he has no connection with that at all, there is no fruit which he wants to gain from them. There is no fruit which is due to him from them. Then the question which may come is that, then that means that the entire action is useless. Usually we do action for gaining fruit only, na? And there is no fruit for this. So that means that, can we say that his actions become useless? No, definitely not. For a man of realization, and whatever action comes out of his prarabdha karma, with that, nourishment of the society is established. It becomes established. Preservation and protection of the society is established. Every man of great wisdom, every great saint, so to say, their action is born out of, or the reason for their action is prarabdha, and the result of that action is loka sangraha. That is what we need to understand. And those people have been established in that knowledge so well, because of which, whatever action we see in them, We see action in them, even though they are established in the knowledge, but we see them doing a lot of actions. That is why Bhagavan has said, Karmana saha eva asanyasya eva karma samsiddhim astita. If they are jnanis, so they have been jnanis, they have been man of study wisdom along with the knowledge. So that is one thing we need to understand. That much for today. In the next session, I'll start the session continuing this verse, and the example I'll give there is of Bhagwan Shankaracharya. I need some time and it will be a little bit long to explain, because we must understand that in a short span of life, how much he has done, what Bhagwan Shankaracharya ji has done. I don't think any of one can do with full dedicated effort in many lives, so to say, what he has done in a short span of life. His brilliance is far above understanding. His divinity is something we must cherish. Because of him, we are able to understand these verses in such a way. So that I will take up in the next session. So this much for today. Rest we will see in the next session. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यद्यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. श्रीमन्नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते. ओम शांति शांति शांति. हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः. हरि ओम. ओम तत्सत्.